Hey guys, it's Alyssa. So, I keep changing my setup. I wanted to try to fit these guys in there, you know? They're just so wonderful. They're a part of the whole thing. I even put on a Bendy shirt for this. So it is officially October, which means that Bendy and the Ink Machine, the final chapter, the full game, is coming out very soon. I just wanted to talk about some theories, some questions that I kind of want answered and hope to have answered within this game. And because they rebranded to just Joe Major Studios for all Bendy content, this is not the end for Bendy. The story can continue maybe in another game. Maybe it will continue in like graphic novel form or something else. We don't know. I mean, Bendy Nightmare Run is part of everything, so there's plenty more to come. Whatever this game ends with, I just hope that we have enough answers for me to not delve too deep into this ink. So I just want to go over some of those thoughts and questions that I think should come up in this game and at some point in the future for Bendy. And maybe if you guys agree with me, you can leave some comments below and we can have a little discussion. So my first question is, what happened after Henry left the studios? I've asked this question many times. I made a whole theory video about who I think Henry is and why he left and why he came back, but we still don't have a solid answer yet. So I really hope that chapter 5 and by the end of the game that we'll know more about Henry's past and why he's here and why did he leave at all. My next question is, how does the ink machine work? There are actually a lot of different theories out there of how the ink machine actually works and creates these tunes. And all of them kind of seem right to me. And by the way, when I talk about theories, I'm mostly referring to ones that I've read or I've watched, mostly from Super Horror Bro and Frog Charles and Tumblr user Adobe Out Design, who does some really good theories. Like, they break down that analysis so much. Like, I love it. Obviously, something happens in the machine and it pumps out tunes, but like, how? Some people think there's an actual blueprint and it assigns tunes based upon their job at the studio. There's also like based on your personality and maybe if you're on like the chaotic good or like chaotic evil kind of scale. My theory is a combination of all of that. I think that the reason why we have like a seance and you have to sacrifice items to the ink machine is to kind of make something. It's to kind of make the tunes, make the cartoon. That's what all the sacrificing is. But then there's something in the ink. It's demonic, there's voices, there's pentagrams, there's caskets. So obviously you need bones and a body and ink and some sort of demonic thing that can kind of squish them all together, and then doing the seance makes them into a tune. But again, we have no actual proof yet. No solid told story of how this ink machine was made, why it was made, and how does it do it? How do you work? How does one work? My next point is just Henry. I've already talked about Henry too much on this whole channel, but one thing I'm very curious about Henry, and a couple of theories kind of explain this in a way, but again, not proven at all, is how come Henry is surviving and living in the studios? And how come he gets like rebirthed from the ink, but he still looks the same? Like, I don't know what he looks like, no one does, but does he look like a normal person? How does he survive? Is there just like a magic energy that keeps him completely safe? Because I don't know. I'm not really sure, because obviously Alice recognizes that he's Henry. So like, how does she know if he's Henry if he looks like a lost one? Plus, what's with these flashbacks? These weird jump scare, manipulative looking flashbacks. It's very odd. There's one theory from Adobe Out Design where it's supposed to be that Henry actually has been in the studio before. And all these flashbacks are from when his first time coming into the studio, and he just kind of remembers that it happened, like all of the lost ones sticking their hands out. Kind of like the past kind of flashes back literally right in front of him, and it's not just like a hallucination. Like, obviously there's something demonic happening here where he obviously thinks that he's looking at something like this. And then we have the Bendy boy. We're being chased by this demonic entity known as Bendy, yet, or not even as Bendy. In the actual game, he's just known as the Ink Demon. We're being chased by him and we know nothing about him. It's strange because he chases after us and he tries to kill us or at least drag us into the ink, but there are other times where he saves us. Saves us from Sammy. I wouldn't really count that as saving, but he saves us from Sammy. and he saves us from the projectionists in a way, but like he doesn't bother us at all in chapter 4. Who is he? And what is his real purpose in all of this? Also a theory that there's 2 Bendys, because one Bendy could be the one that's chasing after you and the other one could be the one that's saving you. Because I don't know. So it's weird. It's called Bendy and the Ink Machine, yet we know nothing about Bendy and the Ink Machine. And my final point, this is it, this is gonna wrap up everything in a nice tight bow, is the ending to the game. This game is going to end, but how is it going to end? How are we going to save everyone? Are we? Is it gonna be possible? There could be multiple different endings. That's quite possible. I mean, we go through 2 different paths. Like if you play through the whole game and you go down the demon path in chapter 3, is the ending completely different at the end of the entire game? I don't know. Will we be fighting Bendy, like literally squaring off against Bendy like we did with Brute Boars? Or are we going to fight the Ink Machine and we're going to try to turn off the Ink Machine? Can we turn everyone back to normal? Or do we have to just kind of like, you know, kill them all? I guess I feel like you can't just leave them the way they are. You either have to kill them or you have to save them. That makes more sense. And I feel like, you could tell me if I'm completely like throwing out something that it could be possibly out of reach, but I feel like by the end of the game, we're going to have a perfect Bendy tune, a perfect Alice tune, and a perfect Boris tune that matches the exact characters in the game, and maybe Butcher Gang members. I don't know, but I feel like we're going to have that by the end. And if we don't, totally understandable. That could be like a future game premise that they actually try to make the actual tunes in real life, but I feel like that might happen, where whether it's not like they sacrifice people to make the actual tunes, but like the Ink Machine actually does what it needs to do and it makes the correct tunes the way it should be. So those are my theories and thoughts about Bendy and the Ink Machine before the final chapter, before the full game is released October 26th. And I really hope that you guys have some theories and thoughts of your own and leave them in the comments below. We want to have a discussion about this. It's a good game. If you haven't played it yet, go play it. What are you doing? You're awesome, I'm awesome, and thank you so much for watching this video. And if you want, you can press subscribe to find out when I post videos, because they come out really whenever I really want to. Sometimes they're Bendy, sometimes they're not, but I just like Bendy and Ink Machine, so sometimes I just talk about it. And if you want to follow me on all my social media sites, you can just go down to the description box below. They're all down there. Alright, bye guys. Whoop!